Hello viewers, you're watching Star Television Network on Channel 21. And this I welcome you to the bulletin of our local news for the hour with me, Adamasila. First the headlines. The Sierra Leone Police has received 18 vehicles out of 35 from the government of Sierra Leone, estimated at $1,575,000 United States dollars, to help capacitate speedy response during the electioneering period and to mitigate election security challenges. The representative of the Environment Foundation for Africa, Christiana Freeman, has said that the introduction of herbal medicines in the country's educational school curriculum will help preserve our forests and promote traditional medicine for its inhabitants. And also, the Alfred Thompson project, aimed at empowering community development activities, has committed to construct 15 boreholes at the local town White Stick Community Tembe Town in the western area, as access to water has been a huge challenge for the past decades. Our sporting news will be part of our local news bulletin for the hour here on Star TV. And those were the headlines. We'll now go for the news in detail. The Sierra Leone Police has received 18 vehicles out of 35 from the government of Sierra Leone, estimated at $1,575,000 United States dollars, to help capacitate speedy response during the electioneering period and to mitigate election security challenges. Here is my colleague Wahida Sisse with the details.
One of the serious challenges of the Sierra Leone Police in exercising its operations across the country, especially in the provinces, is the availability of the required vehicles for emergencies and utility services. Commissioning the vehicles, the Inspector General of Police, Francis Munu, said the commissioned vehicles will help enhance the Sierra Leone Police Force credibility in handling security issues during the 2018 electioneering cycle. He disclosed that the vehicles procured are part of the 35 available vehicles, adding that 2 vehicles will be allocated to each 16 administrative districts in the country.
We have procured new vehicles as part of our capacity building for policing the March 7, 2018 elections. We are commencing the distribution of these vehicles. We start with the regional commanders because they have the enormous responsibility of traversing the hinterland to get to those hard-to-reach areas in order to check the readiness of their personnel.
The Director Support Services Assistant Inspector General of Police, Kalia Isase, reiterated that the allocated vehicles is to strengthening the capacity of the Sierra Leone Police to ensure its smooth operations in security matters and stability ahead of the 2018 general elections as well as the post-elections period. He said they have established a free toll line for emergency calls and speedy response during and after the elections and encourage the public to refrain from violent activities. Each of the allocated vehicles is said cost about $45,000 United States dollars.
For the maintenance of these vehicles, I want to state that we have a transport unit within the SLP that will be regularly servicing and improving on these vehicles to ensure that they are up and running so that they will reach their economic life. And we have made sure that we have set all these systems in place in order to be able to take care of our police vehicles as far as their maintenance is concerned. Yes, it's good for members of the public to note that we have also started to set up our command center, a communication center, an installation that we have put in place at King Tom. Therein we would have phone lines during the electioneering process wherein members of the public would be calling 112. Immediately you dial 112, you will get the control room and we'll be able to respond to your distress call, and these vehicles will be assigned to every area to make sure that we are able to nip crime on the board. And so that command center would be able to receive 40 calls at one go, and that call center will be able to locate about 40 of our operational vehicles that will be out. So immediately we receive a call, we will call a vehicle that is very close to the scene to respond to that incident. So all this is in a package that we have put in place to be able to respond robustly during the general election.
The next phase of the commissioning of the remaining vehicles will be allocated in due course, said the Inspector General of Police, Francis Munu. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Waida Sisei.
The representative of the Environmental Foundation for Africa, EFA, Christiana Freeman, has said that the introduction of herbal medicines in the country's educational school curriculum will help preserve our forests and promote traditional medicines for its inhabitants. This report was compiled by my colleague Wahida Sisei, and here's Eric Silas Kawa with the details.
The representative of the Environmental Foundation for Africa, EFA, Christiana Freeman, has said that the introduction of herbal medicines in the country's educational school curriculum will help preserve our forest and promote traditional medicines for its inhabitants. The primary objective of the enactment of the National Protected Area Authority is the oversight authority over the country's biodiversity and to maintain its natural state. It is also mandatory for the National Protected Area Authority (NPAA) to collaborate with other stakeholders in developing concept and project so as to generate sustainable financing for protected area management. Speaking at a two-day consultative workshop on legal policy framework and guidelines for the involvement of non-governmental organizations, civil society groups, community-based organizations and the private sector in the protected area management at the Senior Police Officers Mess, Kintom in Freetown, the EFA representative Christiana Freeman re-emphasized the need for the introduction of herbal medicinal plants in schools curriculum with a view of building the capacity of pupils and students in the fight to improve our forest reserves as well as raising awareness in their various communities. She noted that apart from the sustainability of the initiative for schools, it would also help the NPAA to be able to generate income from the country's forest reserve.
Well, I guess the forest provides us with so many benefits, like it gives us food, it gives us clothing, shelter, and even medicine. Well, I'm actually focusing on the medicine aspect. If we could see Ghana going up to date, because they'll focus on the schools, they'll focus on educating young people about learning more about herbs. For example, if we educate the school children on herbs and making them know more about herbs, I'm sure they could use that to generate revenue for themselves and even provide employment for themselves. And even, I guess, tourist could even come from different countries and they could use our herbs and our samples to just cure some of the diseases.
One of the participants, Ahisha Josiah, while dilating on the recommendations on how the natural state of the country's biodiversity will be maintained and sustained for human existence, implored NPAA to engage communities and sensitize them on the essence of keeping the country's reserves in a guaranteed state of livelihood for the inhabitants.
My recommendation is that NGOs should engage communities and get them to develop woodlots in communities. When it is done with seriousness, when it is done on a large scale, they should be able on every woodlot to have firewood for cooking. Charcoal will be burnt without interfering with the traditional forest. Timber will be available from those woodlots, and each time they are harvested, they will regrow. By the next year you have enough. For example, if you cut down a Yemeni tree, you can get charcoal from it, you can get board or whatever sticks you want. At the same time you get firewood. And by next year, it's already ready for another harvest. Of woodlots goes also to the sea. People harvest the mangrove trees for firewood. They could easily be replanted immediately. because when they are cleared off, if you notice as at now, we don't have enough fish because the roots of the mangrove trees, the shade of the mangrove trees is where the fish breed. So when they are cleared off, they move away, they migrate, they go to other places looking for spawning areas. So again, in those areas, each time you harvest a mangrove tree, just cut down the edges and replant them with immediate effect so that the forest remains.
The acting executive director, NPAA, Kate Karimo Garnet, told Star News that recommendations made by several participants at the workshop will be addressed with the availability of funds. The values and benefits of Sierra Leone's biodiversity and wildlife conservation must be simplified to community inhabitants with a view to preventing mismanagement. Compiled by Wahida Sise, Eric Silaskawa reporting for Star News in Freetown.
Well, viewers, if you just tuned in, this is the local news bulletin here on Star Television Network on Channel 21. And we're broadcasting live from our Media One Center studios in Freetown, the Mama Studbook Fields. As always, today is Wednesday, it's midweek, and always when we have a local news bulletin, when it's midweek, we join our youth and entertainment correspondent, Mohammed Bashir Senesi, for today's entertainment news. Over to you, Bash.
Many thanks to you, Adam Asila, and now for this segment of entertainment news. In a letter sent to the Chief Executive Officer of Lake Production, Alhaji K. Tawari, known as Laj K, the stadium management have cancelled this year's event that they proposed couple of other artists like Emerson Amido Bakari, Emerson, Abdul Razak Kanu Akman, Mohamed Kamara Maurice, and other top Sierra Leone stars that are being scheduled for the 24th December. I have the letter in front of me here, signed by Musa Sise, the stadium manager, and in that letter he copied the Minister of Sport, the Permanent Secretary, and the Director of Sport. A couple of people still believe that it's highly political, considering the fact that Emerson is anti-political, and also Alhaji K. Tawali being a member of the National Grand Coalition, the NGC. That's the debate in the social media, and it's trending all over. And finally, also, Ahmed Nostue, widely known by his stage name Carl Nero, the Chief Executive Officer for Black Leo Records, has endorsed Kane Colin Yunkela, and a lot of allegations said that it was paid $30,000 to do the song Fresh Face, which he denied. Let's go out there and watch the video wrap up for today.
Una not to the part, we need fresh faces. Una not to the type, election they camp. Una just the hype. Country first, bro, new direction. We need sober leader way strong. Papa God, give me more time and we be seen. Pussy we not gonna make us suffer. Where people go they fair now dirty box chicken. This a time for we country for go before. Time for new faces. People tired for the dying live purple. We need big changes. Oh yeah, hey we. Time for new faces. Oh yeah, hey we need big changes.
I want our children to liberate their minds. From this receivership mentality, aid-dependent mentality that somebody else has to come to Africa to solve our problems. That's not what I see in Asia.
Yeah. That's the official video for Caldenero's song teaming up there with the Vaki of the Black Leo Records titled Fresh Face. And the argument is still on the social media whether or not he was paid. And it could be called that a few weeks down the line, Caldenero endorsed Dr. Kande Yunkela. A lot of people still believe that politicians will stay away from the musicians, likewise musicians stay away from the politicians. That's all for today, and back to you, Adam Asila.
Many thanks to you, Mohammed Bashir Sanusi. We'll continue the rest of our bulletin for this hour. The Alfred Thompson project, aimed at empowering community development activities, has committed to construct 15 boreholes at the local town White Stick Community Timbertown in the western area. Access to water has been a huge challenge for the Timbertown community for the past decades, and the borehole project is to ensure availability of adequate flow of water in the community. Here is my colleague Wahida Sise with the details.
Addressing his audience, Mr. Alfred Thompson, who is aspiring for a parliamentary seat in constituency 129, noted that the challenge for the girl child in going out to fetch water for domestic and other useful purposes has resulted to one of the major reasons for teenage pregnancy across the country. He reiterated that one of the major reasons for teenage pregnancy in Sierra Leone is the poor accessibility to water in a particular community, and as a result of that, parents retire their children early in the morning and late in the night to fetch water. The project is said will help minimize the incidence of teenage pregnancy, or rather, and encourage the beneficiary communities to make good use of the project. Water, he added, is essential for the livelihood of human existence, describing it as a source for life. Speaking on behalf of the youth of the Lokotong community, Tembetown, Dadeke reminded other political parties to emulate the good developmental strides taken by Mr. Thompson if they are to win their vote in the 2018 general elections. He advocated for the APC party to reconsider giving the parliamentary symbol of constituency 129 to a man who has done much for the area and gets the support of the people.
I feel good. The cooperation from the day where the message will pass around, they feel good because if they don't see the man in work way, they do. Government not give money, it's still a do out of your own pocket. The man not a lie in word, not in word. So the community, they're ready for all and they're ready for support.
So as a community, what don't benefit from Alfred Thompson for the past years?
Yeah, the 3 years now where Alfred Thompson, they do this work. He don't give many scholarship there. He don't make 15 mil a tank there. He don't make 13 pump. He don't make 5 bridge there. Na Congo Tong and Tembetown here. So he say he get for make 15 water well na Tembetown here. Yeah, Tego, because APC party, them man they had the stand firm for the one way get for stand for president. So if they left them man there, they not give the symbol. That APC party then go there on doubt, na different area there. Because the man where they left, now in the youth they all live there and there for support. If you do not give this man, me not say APC they don't miss Boku votes na different area there.
Resident of the Lokotong community, Kadejatu Bundu, outlined the various community projects Thompson had achieved for the past decades and pledged to give him full support.
We don't do work. Like bridge, we dey suffer. Like we dey go say we dey suffer. We easy. Mutka, we dey pass yonder for like we get road for like cross. It's not easy. That man don't make it. And we dey strain. We dey go down to school. He don't try. We don't get water. Bridge, this technical behind it. We dey go for school. Now so come be the water the carry. That man don't try. So now he don't come to metal. If he say we not allow this man like make up here, and not think we go just strong post again. Because this man can't work for me now. The people that all who don't get, who don't put here, nothing. We don't do all kinds of things. We cry to them, nothing. If we papa, we supposed to be born. The one who get here as head, we go cry there. You know, as a leader. Extra people that when they come off and then they sorry. According to what they see, all the Timon, they take. This man I don't carry PNZ. This short time we don't have, we don't see what he don't start for. And we know say if you all and one by God in power. For next year, yes, so they change because we strain too much for water. And this 2-3 months we don't can ask what they don't try and say now in governor we don't see the development. Side then we don't put in for make for we water well. If you for cow meal attack for pump water and right now that happiness that we get and one let government look this money so for this help we the help we get big man then now don't cow meal attack on a club for let them help big man for let them give we water they not give it. So now we don't cry to her. This time to say the big out for we the water the meal attack don't they have 1 year and I don't come for big people in the area for let them give help who will not get for now they get water you know get.
So now
this man
support him.
Yes, we get it for support and then we deal with him.
Who is this man? What's his name?
Alfred Thompson.
Alfred Thompson is a household name in Congoton and the Tembetown community in terms of empowering communities with various laudable projects to promote and project the livelihood of the deprived and less privileged. He is fondly called the Ridima. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Waida Sisei.
Well, viewers, that's all we have in our local news bulletin file for the hour here on Star Television Network and Channel 21. I am Adama Silla. Thanks for watching. Keep watching Star TV. Don't go away. The weather forecast is up next.